Right, so it was a top 10 sort of security tips for SMBs, for small, medium businesses. So I might not remember all 10, but I definitely...
go to your website to catch up?
We can definitely talk about some of the really important ones. So one of the first ones is the cloud providers. So everyone, right, I use Dropbox, and sometimes people want Dropbox and Google and 3 other cloud providers. Well, you need to think about every time you have personal data and you're backing it up, that's multiple different cloud providers that now all have that personal data. So do you really want all that personal data in multiple places? Because that exposes you. The more places your personal data is, then the more at risk you as a company are. So rule number 1 is pick 1 or 2 and minimize them. Also be thinking about, do you do shared, right? Do you have any contractors, freelancers, other companies, other people that you're sharing documents with? And maybe you worked with them 6 months ago, but you haven't since then. You should turn their access off. They shouldn't have access to that anymore. So making sure you have good access controls also tied to the cloud providers that you're using is really important. Wi-Fi. So right, public Wi-Fi, it's great. We can access the internet anywhere in the world. I was literally thinking about, remember when they had cyber cafes? And you had to go to a cafe when you were remote to be able to get to your email, and now we don't have that anymore. Right now you can just pop up your phone, that's this mini computer, and get Wi-Fi. So I highly recommend being very careful where you're using public Wi-Fi, and you can get a VPN, which a lot of the bigger companies use, but it's just basically another layer of protection that you can use sort of around that public Wi-Fi. And in the blog, there are several providers that are low cost, easy to use, and will be another protection option. Another one is encryption. So you can literally encrypt your laptop, and I think I put a link to a website that has a really good detail on how to encrypt your laptop. But that way, everything on your laptop is encrypted. So that doesn't mean you should have lax security practices and completely ignore anything, but it is a great another security measure where your entire laptop is secured.
Right, and as a marketing person, you end up with everybody's usernames and passwords and all of that stuff that you're going in because they're busy. The business owner is busy, so you go in and you make the Facebook updates and you put on YouTube, and yeah, those are things that I always think how important it is to make sure that I'm locked down so that they are.
Right, and the other big one is password. So I know we hear all the time, change your password, and it is frustrating. There's 4,000 username and passwords. And I highly recommend a company like a LastPass. You don't have to use LastPass. It's one of the leading ones. There's some others like it. But with LastPass, you create a really strong password that you have to know, because if you forget it, LastPass will not tell you your password. It's called a master password. So really know your password, because if you lose it, what happens is you lose the access to all the stored passwords. And then let's just say you had 20 sites stored in LastPass, you'd have to reset all 20 sites. Yeah. So, but with that, you then don't have to remember 20 different sites of their usernames and passwords. You just remember the single one. And what's really nice about LastPass is you can share access. So let's say you had your email service provider and it was MailChimp, and you want to hire an email marketer to send your emails for you, but you don't want to give them full access to your email account with your password. You can grant them access via LastPass, and they never see the actual password. They just have access as they need to.
That's great.
It's really great. And so that's really becoming a new best practice for companies, is in terms of client access. A lot of agencies are using LastPass to be able to access on behalf of clients, and they're not sharing passwords.